The base shuddered violently, a deep rumble that reverberated through the walls. Liam Ashford's hand gripped the command console, his eyes fixed on the flickering screen. "Report," he barked, his voice sharp, cutting through the rising panic. "Unknown hostiles inbound." "Shields are failing," came the terse reply from Zara Gage, the chief officer, her voice calm but strained over the comms. The words sent a chill down Liam's spine. The Yrrith had never been this close before. "Target their weapons systems, disrupt their shields," Liam ordered, his mind working at breakneck speed. The calm exterior he projected masked the storm brewing inside. His first command, and it was chaos. His team needed him to be the leader they'd heard about, the leader who would rise above. But doubts gnawed at him. Was he truly ready? Across the room, Ruth Vega, the tech specialist, tapped rapidly at her console, fingers flying over the holographic interface. "I'm trying, but they've got some kind of anti-signal technology. Our weapons aren't responding." Liam's gaze shifted to the view of the battlefield, the first wave of alien ships darting through the atmosphere like shadows in the sky. The Yrrith were relentless, efficient predators, more than just a threat, they were a test. And humanity? They had no idea what they were up against. "This isn't just an attack. It's a hunt," Zara said, her words heavy with realization. She locked eyes with Liam. "They're here for us." The tension in the room thickened. The unspoken question lingered: could humanity survive its first true trial against an alien force that seemed far beyond their reach? Liam's breath came in shallow gasps as he paced in front of the command center's main viewport. The vast emptiness of space stretched before him, but the enemy was closing in, their ships like dark specks in the distance. A soft beep from his console interrupted his thoughts. "Sir, the enemy's fleet is holding position," Zara reported, her eyes never leaving her own screen. "They've stopped advancing. Almost like they're waiting for something." "Waiting?" Liam repeated, his voice tight. He turned toward Ruth, who was hunched over the tech station, fingers flying across the keys. "Yeah," Ruth said, her voice dry. "I've got a weird transmission signal. Not an attack, but something else, almost like they're scanning us." A wave of unease washed over him. "They're studying us?" He paused, brow furrowed. "Why? Are they trying to provoke us?" Zara exchanged a glance with him. "If they are, it's working. Our fleet's on edge, and the longer we sit here, the more likely we'll do something rash." Liam clenched his fists, frustration simmering beneath his calm exterior. They were outmatched, outgunned, and yet, somehow, they had to hold their ground. He couldn't afford to hesitate. His team needed him to act, not wait for answers. "We need to take the initiative," Liam decided, eyes narrowing with resolve. "We'll launch a counteroffensive. We can't sit back and let them control the pace." Ruth's voice cut through the tension. "You sure about this, Commander? They're not just testing our defenses, they're studying us. If we don't adapt, they'll use that against us." Liam took a breath, his thoughts racing. "Then let's make sure we're not the ones being studied anymore." The silence in the room was heavy. The storm was coming. The battlefield outside had become a mess of flashing lights and distant explosions. Liam stood at the heart of the command center, his eyes fixed on the holographic map. His pulse quickened as he watched the alien fleet shift positions, seemingly anticipating his every move. They were no longer just an external threat, they were studying him. "They've adapted," Ruth said, her voice tinged with disbelief as she glanced up from her console. "Every time we change tactics, they counter. It's like they know our next move before we even make it." Zara's hands gripped the armrests of her chair. "It's not just a fight anymore. It's a test. We're the lab rats in their experiment." Liam's jaw tightened. The realization struck him hard. They weren't fighting for survival, they were being tested for something bigger. "We need to turn the tables," he muttered. He thought back to Earth's history, to the old wars. Humanity's greatest victories hadn't come from superior firepower or technology. They had come from ingenuity, from unpredictability. They didn't fight the same way twice. We can't fight them head-on, Liam said, his mind racing. But we can force them into a situation where they're reacting to us, not the other way around. Zara raised an eyebrow. You're suggesting we bait them? Liam met her gaze, determination burning in his eyes. Exactly. If we're not the prey, we're the hunters. Time to make them regret underestimating humanity. As the alien ships loomed closer, the tension in the room grew unbearable. Every second felt like a countdown, but for the first time since the battle began, Liam felt a surge of hope. The storm was about to hit, and this time, they would make the first strike. The countdown echoed through the command center. Time was slipping away faster than Liam would have liked, but there was no going back now. The alien fleet had taken the bait, just as he had planned. They were chasing his decoy ships straight into a trap. Now, they were within striking distance. Targets locked. Zara's voice was cold but focused, her eyes scanning the final data readouts. The hum of the ship's engines felt like a distant pulse, the calm before a violent storm. Do it, Liam ordered, heart pounding in his chest. He had no illusions about what was at stake. Victory or annihilation. There was no in-between. Ruth's fingers flew across her console. Engaging now, she said, her usual confident tone laced with an undercurrent of tension. The ship lurched slightly as the weapons systems powered up. For a brief moment, everything seemed to freeze, then the first volley of missiles launched from the ship, streaking through space toward the enemy fleet. The alien ships tried to evade, but they were too late. Explosions rippled across the dark expanse, the bright flashes a stark contrast against the blackness of space. We've got them! Zara shouted, but Liam wasn't celebrating. Not yet. The alien ships were scattering, but the fight was far from over. He knew that much. Stay sharp. They'll adapt, Liam said, his eyes never leaving the view of the battle unfolding before him. The next few minutes felt like an eternity. But slowly, painfully, the Yrrith fleet began to crumble. With their communications shattered and their ships outmaneuvered, they had no choice but to retreat. Liam's shoulders slumped in relief, but the victory was bittersweet. This had only been the beginning. The war for humanity's survival was far from over, but for now, they had won. And in that victory, Liam understood one thing: humanity wasn't just a player in this universe, they were a force to be reckoned with.